Proudly sponsored by heshes.co.uk, a fast-growing boxing equipment brand that give 20% of all sales on the branded products back to a boxing gym of your choice.
Hello and welcome back to the All Things Rugby League podcast on Niche Sports, proudly brought to you by Hes Boxing Equipment. I'm Lewis, and as always, I'm joined by Jordan. How are you this week, Jordan?
I'm good. Get excited to talk about rugby league once again.
Yeah, always. It's one of my favourite parts of the week for sure. Obviously, last week we had a very special guest on. Barry McDermott joined us, which was a bit surreal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Hopefully most of you have gone and watched that episode, but if you've not, it's up on Spotify and YouTube on the Niche Sports pages, and very insightful from Barry around his playing career and his punditry career. And he even set us a wee challenge, which you might have seen on Twitter in the past week or so. But John, let's get started. You managed to get to a couple of games this week. What else have you been up
to? Not a lot, to be honest. Work. But I've been watching a lot of rugby, following the rugby quite closely this week. It seems to have been a very good week for it. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, same. Just busy with everything. Was that Friday? Was that through in Edinburgh for this round 5 game in the Scottish Men's Premiership? So we had Edinburgh Eagles and Forth Valley Vikings. Edinburgh won, but set up the 6th game this year, where if Forth Valley win by 53 points or more, they'll get the League Leaders Shield. Edinburgh would come second and play Glasgow in a second versus third sort of playoff to then play whoever's first in the grand final, as to say, which is a bit weird saying with 3 teams who have already played each other twice each. But no, the grand final, which interestingly enough decides a Challenge Cup place for a Scottish team. So you might have seen Edinburgh Eagles in the Challenge Cup at the start of this year, a good few months ago now, starting in that opening round, and they were unfortunate enough to lose. I want to say it was maybe Saddleworth.
I think it was, yeah. That was a weird game where there was no referee, I think, for a few minutes.
Oh, really? I was in and out watching it, I'm sure. Honestly, there was also like a Six Nations game on around the same time. So the BBC were in Edinburgh for rugby league, which you don't see too often, if at all. Might even have been a first time. Exactly, it's good to see. So it'll be interesting to see who takes that place this year, and if Forth Valley can dethrone Edinburgh. But no, that was a really good game, and enjoyed being at that. And like you say, there's plenty going on in the rugby league world this week, so we've got lots to talk about. And I guess
absolutely,
just, hop right into it with Super League results. So I guess the first one came as a bit of a surprise. Leeds beating Warrington 22-6 on Thursday evening.
Yeah, I think I predicted that Leeds would win, but I thought it'd be a very close game because obviously Leeds are inconsistent. Warrington need to get back to winning ways. But Leeds, that first 20 minutes for Leeds was a difference. I think it was 16-0 up after about 20 minutes, and Warrington had absolutely no answer. They managed to stop the onslaught, to be fair, which credit to them, because it didn't look like they'd be able to. But it shows how quick a rugby game can just completely turn on its head.
Yeah, I thought Blake Austin was pretty outstanding, to be honest. I think Ash Hanley got a couple of those early tries. And I was going to say as well, Warrington's try, it was a bit controversial. I think it was lucky enough to be given, and Leeds almost had two nil-ins or 2 clean sheets, in a row.
Yeah, and I think the fact that Warrington's only try was sort of controversial when they were second in the table. Well, they still are second in the table, or are they third now? They're in the top 3 still.
Yeah.
But from a start of this season where they were so dominant and scoring for fun to now having to score controversially, I think it shows their sort of downfall, but it's credit to Leeds as well to be able to do that. And 2 weeks in a row with Huddersfield the week before as well. Very impressive.
No, they have been, and that's two big wins coming off the back of the defeat to Wakefield. So I know we say it a lot, but anyone really can beat anyone this year.
Yeah,
it makes it interesting watch and fun to watch. But yeah, Warrington fans must just be punching themselves. Like, what is going on? Because, like you said at the start of the year, was it 8 in a row, or might even be more?
8 in a row, I think.
they looked unstoppable. I thought Paul Vaughan's not looking quite as he did at the start. I'm not a fan of Matt Duffy, to be honest. I think he's got bits of his game, but he's just not that quite all round fullback that
Yeah,
sort of breaks the game completely.
I agree. He's too easily exposed, and that's kind of shown a bit recently. Like if it's a 1-on-1, I'm not going to say almost guaranteed to lose, because obviously his NRL quality was.
Was
But, oh yeah, it was. But he's not performing to the level that Warrington really need him to. And although he had a few good weeks at the start of the season, even then he looked a bit of a weak link in that side. So
Sam
yeah,
Cassiano as well, the sin bin, and then also a few just daft
yeah,
errors and penalties. I thought that was one of the poorer performances I've seen all year, to be honest. It was a bit, you just kept doing something wrong, you know what I mean? He
yeah.
just didn't have it going for him.
It's like he made one error and then tried to make up for it with something bigger, and then made an even bigger error afterwards. And
Yeah. What did you make of the yellow? Because I've seen a bit of controversy around that shoulder charge sort of yellow. I don't know if you can think back and remember it, but
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell if it. There's clearly no attempt to wrap the player up, which in the rules of the game is a yellow card, but it's very, very soft yellow,
yeah,
very
no,
soft. But
you probably see that once a game at least, you know.
yeah, definitely.
Maybe it's that sort of player with that sort of reputation, going in like that, and it sort of precedes them and
Yeah,
works against them, and it continued to work against them all game long. But big win for Leeds. I'm sure all the Leeds fans will be more than happy with that. The lot pod
yeah,
and all them lot will be chuffed after that victory. So no, a good result for them. Going from shocking result in a way to completely baffling result.
yeah.
Wakefield on Friday night, 32 points to 6 winners at home against Salford. And am I right in saying you were there?
I was, yeah, I was. I don't know how to describe the game. It was completely shock. It was just a shock to everyone. It was like in the ground. There was a feeling of like, oh, the fun's over now. Show us a real game, sort of thing. 'Cause
Yeah,
no one expects it to come, but Will Dagger in particular, what a performance from him! Got 8 penalties and conversions, and scored a try himself. And it's easily
huge.
one of huge, easily one of the best performances that I've seen in person this season. Um, so someone's commented saying, "Try." Oh yeah, okay. It's my friend's comment. Try for playing him. That was me as well.
I was about to say it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was me. But to be fair, bringing that up, Liam Kerr had a great game that game as well. I think it shows Wakefield now have got a bit of consistency. It's really showing the strengths in that side. And considering all you have been saying about Mason Leno's not performing at his best, Will Dagger's gone in there in that halfback row with Gale and immediately clicked to the point where does Leno lose his starting position?
After that big new deal as well. But no,
Yeah,
if you don't know what we're talking about with player name, head across the Wakefield Twitter,
yeah.
where
Or
there's
don't,
a or don't.
or don't.
Well, where there's a wee graphic made by Jordan himself,
Yeah,
with try for player name. A great graphic until you got to the try scorer.
yeah,
But it gave us a few laughs, and gave I think the whole sort of Twitter rugby league community a few laughs as well. I did like the post
yeah.
where it was someone saying about the statistic that player
I
name
like
is
that
one of
one.
the highest
Yeah,
scoring players, or something along those lines. So
that was a good
no,
one.
it's one of those things you just gotta laugh at it, mate, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. It was all fun and games. No one got hurt or anything. It's all good.
Any publicity and all that.
Yeah, all publicity is good publicity.
Exactly. But in terms of Salford, I know they were missing Brierley, Ackers too. Am I right in saying? Or
Yeah, Ackers, Croft, and Sam Stone.
and
They're the
Croft.
4 big ones that were missing.
So that's like your spine just completely blown
Yeah,
up. So maybe it was probably the best time to play them in terms of a Wakefield point of view, but
yeah,
to still go out there and put 32 points on a team like Salford, who I know they're inconsistent, and we speak about how much they can score and concede, but it's still that it wasn't a walkover performance for Wakefield. They had to show up, and that they did.
Yeah, I think it's obviously reported about Salford not having their spine, and for any team that's going to be a big loss, especially Salford, who don't have a greatest replacements and have quite a small squad anyway. But Wakefield also have lots of injuries too, and I feel like that kind of goes under the radar a bit now because that's just been their season. But
Yeah,
they still also have lots of injuries too. You've seen like all the loan players that were brought in, and all that playing. So yes, Salford had injuries, but Wakefield also had injuries, still putting their best performance of the year. So very impressive.
exactly. I wonder if they can keep on that form and try revive this season a bit that seemed like a complete dead rubber, and people were
Yeah.
wondering if they're even going to win a game. So no, they're
Well,
trying their best to turn it around, and for the neutral, it's exactly what you want to see, some big wins in games like that. Moving on the Friday night, we had St Helens with a solid enough win, 22-0 over
yeah.
Castleford. I've actually not caught any of this game, so I'm going to let you take it
Um,
away if you've seen much of it at all.
I've seen a bit of it, mainly about Lewis Dodd's performance, and that he was obviously he's come into criticism this season mainly because off the back of Saints' poor performances and him not really leading the team. But he not dominated, but he dominated like the field position and the controlling side of the game on Friday, and it seemed like the weather was very suiting to him. So
Yeah,
a positive performance from him, and probably something that he needed right now, considering all the negative criticism around him. And apparently since that sort of togetherness and really defending like the life depending on it is back by all accounts. Always back in that game, which is complete opposite to the Hull game the week before.
yeah.
Saw that Matt Purcell put in an American football style block to stop a try. So
I missed that one. I missed that one.
yeah, it looks like the since that was them sort of being back at least for one game.
We say it a lot, don't we? That there's no looking back now. This is them
Yeah,
back, and then games like the Hull game. No offense as a Hull fan, but that happens, and they don't look quite as strong. So without a doubt, they're going to finish in that top six, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. But I mean, but they are, and I think the game like Casford, yes, for back it was a great performance, but that's a routine win for a Saint side.
Yeah,
If you're not picking up the win there, and against Hull, to be fair, should be a routine win for them as well. So they seem to have an inconsistency that teams like Leeds have, and it seems this season whoever is the most, obviously every season whoever's most consistent does the best, but even more so this year with the amount of inconsistency in the league.
yeah. Hopefully, Dodd can build on that. Then solid performance, and they can kick on for, well, hopefully for Saints fans. A lot of people won't be wanting that, and
Yeah,
will like that they're not running away as per usual. So, teams that are consistent though, yeah, we'll move on to another Friday night game because Super League. Let's put all the games on the Friday
yeah,
night. Um,
typical RFL that.
exactly. The consistent team I'm talking about is Lee Leopards, and they pulled off a massive 34-4 win against Hull KR.
Yeah,
I reckon you wouldn't be mad for predicting that at all, but I would think a lot of people did predict Hull KR this week.
I predicted Hull KR. Yeah, I remember that because Barry said I could not change my prediction after predicting it. But it felt like that would be Hull KR. Obviously Lee had their massive winning streak. I believe it was 7 games. Hull KR finding their feet again with all the injuries and problems on the pitch as well for them. It felt like they'd just keep that run going. Lee would take that a little bit more time to bounce back. Maybe the cracks in the fact they're newly promoted would show now because they're
Yeah,
not playing with as much confidence. But that just didn't happen. Lee just turned up from minute one and dominated. I want to ask you, what do you think of a Mikey Lewis sin binning?
I've not seen it bad, but I
Aye.
know bad on my part, and I've seen that there's controversy surrounding it, and he didn't get a ban. Am I right in saying? But I've actually not
Yeah.
seen the incident as a whole.
So he slides in on second minute and slide tackles someone off a ball. So you've got the argument that it's a wet pitch, it was accidental, which is a valid argument. But then when Sky's wide camera, it looked like he just dropped and slid in with both his feet up. So that's
Sounds
not
like
really. It's not
sounds
really
like we
the
have
norm.
a sports day sort of week. Someone playing
Yeah,
American football in the game before, bit of football here. He's not been banned for it, so they must
yeah,
have took. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? They must have give him the benefit of the doubt,
yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah. I didn't know what you meant either.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely lost there in my own head. But no, they've given him the benefit of the doubt clearly. So although he's played a bit of football, it's the Rugby Football League, isn't it? So
It is. There's football in there somewhere, so it's all okay.
no, that's a no, that's an intro. I did see that he got the yellow. I just never realised what it was for, which is bad on my part. But one thing I wanted to bring up about Lee, and this is completely controversial, and I'm probably going to get absolutely slated for it. How good actually is John Asiata? I know he gets so much praise in this Lee side, but I've
That's
not
actually
even at Magic Weekend when I was there and the games I've watched of Lee, I've not noticed him that much. Yeah, he's a bit of a ball playing 13, but you sort of have to be in this day and age. Like, is he that special? Maybe I'm being completely wrong and silly here, and he's the reason that Lachlan Lamb and the likes are playing so well. But that's my controversial opinion, which I've been holding on to for a few weeks now, waiting to see if I could have my mind changed. But yeah,
that is an interesting one. I'm not too sure because it's like when I went to Lee Hull, that's the last time I watched Lee. Asiata got man of a match, and it was like, oh, that's understandable. You can see why, because he was there doing everything. It was always there or thereabouts where the ball was. But he never did anything spectacular. He just did the basics right.
I
So
guess that's what you're always looking for, though. Eh?
yeah, but I guess he's also more outshadowed by your Lambs, your Charnleys, people like that in the Lee side, just because he's not so much an attacking side; he's more defensive.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a very good argument, actually.
I'm just like, I reckon you could put a lot of the 13s in Super League in there. I know I say the name a lot, but like your James Bells or like your
Yeah,
uh, what's his Minicello or Cam Smith or someone, and just not really notice a difference or see an improvement. And I just think
yeah,
he gets a lot of praise when, and I know that Lamb, Charnley, the likes get a lot of praise too, but I just don't see it. And might be NRL bias as well, but like, I don't think he
yeah.
even cleans the boots of an Isaiah Yeo or a Cam Murray,
No, I do agree. He's I would say he's definitely up there with the top end of Super League 13s, but it could be more of a product of the fact that Lee are just playing out of their skin. That he's just
Yeah,
part of that team, because it'd be hard to look at that team and pick one player that's stand out or one player that's shouldn't be in the team right now. So
yeah.
maybe it's just more that sort of thing.
Yeah, consistency is key. Sorry, and maybe I'm completely in the wrong and happily be told that. So, if you want to make the argument from, feel free. And I'm not saying he's a bad player by any sort, but just every time I hear people speaking about Lee, it's always about him, and
Yeah,
I've just not seen, top of the league sort of player from him. And that again, I don't watch every game. I'm I'm not the most knowledgeable about the Super League or Lee or the game in general, but I just that was I've been holding on to that one for a few weeks, and I thought,
yeah,
why not wait and see if anyone else has the similar opinion. But fair play to him, he's getting the praise, and because he's obviously doing something right, and he's a lot further ahead than I am.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway, enough about John Asiat and Lee. Quite a close game. The last Friday night game, which was Wigan 22, Huddersfield 6. So another loss for Huddersfield, another
yeah.
low scoring game for them. But, I'm sure Wigan would have wanted to have that read a lot better in their favour.
Yeah, I think so. I think Huddersfield, with all the defensive issues at the moment, they probably did well to keep Wigan to only 4 tries, I think it was. So it's definitely not terrible from Huddersfield's perspective. It's probably an improvement on their recent results. Wigan will probably, based off the inconsistency that they've had over recent weeks, just be happy with a win as well. But I think Huddersfield, that's sort of game where you're looking at there's potential for an upset here, and
Yeah,
there wasn't anywhere close to it. So I don't know if it's sort of a mixed bag for both sides in that one.
yeah. 5, 6 weeks ago, or maybe a wee bit longer, but I was looking at Wigan and excited to see them play and what their score is going to be, and
Yeah,
how Harry Smith and even your Toby Kings and Liam Farrell's, all that, how they played, and now I sort of see them and I couldn't really be bothered with them in a way. I don't find them that exciting at the moment,
no,
which
I
is
agree.
easy to say about a team going through a rough patch, and it's a good win for them, but they gave me some sort of excitement at the start of the season, and it's disappeared for me.
No, I do agree, and I think that's quite obviously we don't watch Wigan as much as some people do, but I think with Wigan being such a youthful side, your Ethan Hazards and your Shorrocks and people like that in there, your Farrells and your Toby King, and they should be the ones that are stepping up, and we just don't seem to. Then obviously, again, as you say, it's easy to say when a team's going through a rough patch, but we're not stepping up as much, and we really need to be because the youngsters are probably lacking that leadership. And the excitement and the off the cuff play really needs to be coming from Farrell and King, and obviously Smith is great at controlling the play and booting it around the pitch. So I definitely agree that the being less exciting as of late.
Even like you used to see constant Bevan French done this, Bevan French
Yeah,
done that. You don't hear his name at the moment.
it's true actually, and he's one player that you never ever hear of sort of ghosts in a game or something like that. So just everyone seems to have slightly declined in their performance at Wigan.
Yeah, hopefully they can sort of build it back up come this last portion of the season, and then just looking at that game on paper, Wigan Huddersfield 22-6, it's just a bit like take it or
Mm.
leave it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And not to be negative, and I know as a fan of either of those teams, it's a massive game. So when it comes around, you're anything but take it or leave it. But
yeah,
as a neutral, it's just sort of, I don't know if it's maybe both teams' colours as well. That sort of like maroony, purpley. I don't know if it's,
yeah,
but something about it just and I don't know. It's just not the game for me. Not the game for
yeah.
me.
No, I do agree. I do agree. It's one of them games, and it's just a bit. Meh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Another game for you this weekend, and at the time you definitely weren't best pleased. I think you've had a bit of chance to reflect now, but
yeah.
you were at Hull FC Catalans. The final score being 18 points to 28. So the visiting side won. What were your thoughts on this one?
I think Hull FC can be happy with their performance. Definitely. Catalan are a brilliant side. That's now 9 wins on the row. 9 wins in a row. So
Is it?
Catalan are pretty much as close to unstoppable as it gets in this season. So very, very, very good performance from Hull. I think Khan will be disappointed with their performance, especially in that second half. They had so much field position, like almost a full 40 minutes were in Hull's half, and they managed to only score once. So maybe there was a bit of a lack of penetration in that second half. But then that's more of a credit to Hull's defence, which has been quite strong recently.
Yeah,
But also the fact that Catalan seemed to switch off at times in that first half. On the 35th minute, it was 18-6 to them. And then at the end of the half, it was 22-18. So Hull
yeah.
just quick fire 2 tries and we're right back in it. And we're in it then for the rest of the game. So there's lots of improvements to be made for Catalan. Hull, there's obvious improvements to be made there. But we can be very happy with that performance.
Yeah, 100%. And we spoke a lot about Hull's defence and the improvements it's made, and it's becoming a bit of a identity of theirs. And
Yeah.
you know, they they are just steadily improving. And you look at you know first couple of weeks of the season, you would have bit your someone's hand off for a
Yeah.
result like that against Catalans. So
Absolutely.
like you say, they're top of the league, they're flying, and they're as consistent as anyone's been this year.
Yeah. The
So
top of the league for a reason.
exactly, exactly. I'd imagine, like you said, they won't be too happy about that. I know, was it last week they weren't even best pleased about performance
Yeah.
after a more convincing win.
Yeah, so 38-30, but again, the defence showing a few issues there. And again, with the whole game just switching off defensively and conceding 3 tries as a result. So
Yeah, so they are beatable. They are.
yeah, they're definitely beatable, but there's improvements to be made for Catalan. But
100%.
again, they're still top side, and it's difficult to beat them, but it is possible.
Exactly. Let's quickly fire through the fixtures for this week, which I believe is round 18. I think I'm right in saying.
Yep, believe so.
So shall we just go through, give quick predictions, and both be
Yeah.
wrong as per usual?
Yeah.
So no Thursday night game this week, but we
Nope.
still do have a host of Friday night games, so not
Where
to
would
worry.
we be without that?
The Friday night schedule, who can fit them all in? So the earliest kickoff is 7:45. That is 1945. Wakefield hosts Wigan, so could be an interesting one, to be honest.
It could. I'll be at that game. I'm gonna say Wigan just though. I think it'll be close. I'm gonna say Wigan by 10.
I'm going to say Wakefield by 2 upset.
Ooh.
And I was also going to check with you if you could confirm whether player names going to be playing this week or.
I cannot, but I will make sure playing name makes an appearance if I'm anywhere near the media. So don't you worry.
I'm sorry, we just got to absolutely
It's
rinse
fun.
that while it's it's all in good spirit.
Yeah.
And then 8:00 we've got 2 games. Castleford host Lee Leopards at the Mendahoes Jungle. What's your thoughts here? Surely a Lee win.
Yeah, Lee very convincingly. I'm going to say Lee by 30.
I was going to say 36. So
yeah, both pretty much the same. And
exactly. And then I think this next game is a good tester to sort of cement each of these teams' places this season and sort of for them to state their claim of how they're going to finish. It's Warrington hosting Saints. Yeah, like I say, I think depending on result is how that team's going to finish. If Saints win, they're going to finish strong as we expect. And I think if Warrington win, that can be the kickstart they need to get this season back on track that started so well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Saints. Warrington there's no sort of, it's just uninspiring. It's probably the right word. Saints, how many more times we're going to save it back before they actually are? But I think we'll win this one. I'm going to say Saints by 12.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Saints 12. On to Saturday, we've just got the one game, I believe it's Catalans back at home, back in France. 7:00 kickoff our time, I'd imagine, on Saturday night against Huddersfield. So again, surely there's only one winner this week.
Again, I'm going to say Catalans by 14 again. I'm going to say quite close, or close-ish, but I think Catalans' defensive issues will persist a little bit because Huddersfield are sort of side I might underestimate and not be at their strongest.
Yeah, I was going to say 24, so I'm expecting a bit more of a strong foot, especially after a couple of weeks where they'll want to shore up that defence and win more convincingly. I'm going to say 24.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And then the big one, I think you'll be here again Sunday. It's the Hull Derby at Hull KR. You'll be in the away end, I'd imagine.
Yep, sold out away end.
There we go.
The only concern, aside from a game, the same thing that when I went to the Hull Derby in April, Hull KR fans were above the Hull FC fans, and there was a lot of crowd trouble.
Right.
The exact same things happen again at this one, so hopefully it's not as bad this time. I prefer not to be pelted by bottles, but back to the game. I'm going to say Hull FC. It's Derby week. I'm not ever going to say anything else. So Hull FC by 4.
I don't know where to stand. I'm going to say Hull KR, but I'm going to say you're going to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Golden Point, Hull KR.
Oh, my heart can't take that. Not on a derby.
I'll be looking at the scores on Sunday and thinking. Oh, actually, Sky Sports. There we go. I could give it a wee watch. and hopefully you don't get pelted by balls, and if you do, hopefully it's on TV.
I mean, at least someone can get entertainment from it, if so.
And then to round off the week, Salford will be looking to bounce back, and they face Leeds, who will be looking to continue their good form.
Yeah, I'm going to say Leeds again. Salford, not by loads, and I think Salford will improve from Wakefield, because I believe they should have a few of their spine back, if not all. But Leeds are just too strong at the moment over these last couple of weeks, so I'm going to say Leeds by 40.
Yeah, it depends if they're. I've not seen team lists or anything, so who they've got back. But if Briley and Croft are back, I would almost go as close as backing them. But I think that Leeds run a form, almost going 160 minutes without conceding, and conceding to a controversial try at that. I see them taking it by 12.
Yeah,
well, as close as it could be.
Yeah.
Hopefully another good round of Super League. Like we've just gone over, anyone can beat anyone this year, and I'm sure half our predictions, if not them all will be wrong.
That's usual. That we've got used to that by now.
Look out for. I'm sure you'll be doing a lot of content over the weekend, heading to another couple of games.
Yeah, I will.
I'll probably miss most of them. I'll be at the Forth Valley Glasgow game in Scotland on Saturday, and then it's round 3 of the wheelchair Premiership in Scotland on the Sunday. So I probably will miss most of the Super League this week, but I'm looking forward to hearing your experiences when they come out on the Niche Sports YouTube, and then speaking to you about them next week. But we'll move on now, and I'll let you take it away with the Championship and League One from last week and what we've got coming up.
Yep. We'll start with then last Saturday. The first game was Toulouse versus Widnes. We both, all three of us, including Dan, we all said Toulouse. Widnes are not playing too well, and we were right with Toulouse, to be fair. But one thing I did want to point out is for Widnes, Ryan Miller scored 4 tries in that game.
Oh, really?
Despite being a loss, so if they needed some inspiration, they've got it. They've definitely got it in that side.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a weird one at night. Do you go and get pissed because you've scored 4 tries, or do you go and have a quiet one because you've lost? I don't quite know.
I don't know.
I know I'd be doing. I'd be going and drinking, like.
Yeah. Side before south. No, south before side.
Yeah,
I said that so wrong. It ruined what I was trying to say.
Ruined a bit.
Yeah. Got Barrow versus Batley then, arguably game of a round. This one finished 12-6, but was 0-0 at half time.
Yeah, that's we speak so much about how the scores can be in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and that's proven with some of the scores that we'll come on to. But 12-6 in the Championship, is that a good game to be at as a fan? When you want to see all that, I'm sure they're still entertaining, but you're missing out on a lot of tries there.
I don't know what the quality was like, whether it was low scoring because it was poor quality. But to be fair, we've said it before, some of them games can be the best games that it can be at. You just never know which way it's going to go. And I think Batley, they left it till very late to get the winner. Josh Hodgson getting the winner. So they left it very late, and I'm sure it would have been quite an entertaining game.
Am I right? I might be getting the wrong person here, but I'm sure he just scores tries for fun.
He does, yeah. I think earlier in the cup he scored 4 in one game.
Yeah.
I think I don't know much about him, to be fair. He seems to have come from a little bit from nowhere, but he does.
I want to say either former Midlands Hurricane or former, Midlands-based player. I might be wrong there.
That does ring a bell, to be fair. Midlands.
Yeah, I want to say he's from in and around there, so it's good seeing someone from out with the traditional heartlands.
Yeah, it's good to see
stuff like that.
We'll move on. York versus Halifax. That was an upset for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't have predicted that one.
Neither. I think 28-18. It's not the most dominant, but York, who need the results to get out of that relegation battle, it's quite an impressive one for them. Yukuma Taoi on the bench for York, ex-Huddersfield sort of legend in the Super League. I don't know how long he's been at York, but he's a pretty good signing that for them, and he'll do quite a bit.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say, I'm not sure if you've seen, it's up there for tweet of the week along with player names try. It was someone done a tweet about, I can't remember who done the initial tweet about Super League clubs keeping an eye on Lachlan Walmsley, who's obviously a fan favourite on this channel.
Yeah.
And then it said with 24 tries and to his name this season or something, and Lachlan Walmsley commented on the tweet with 20 and an asterisk, just correcting the amount of tries he'd impressively already scored this year. So
yeah,
I wasn't sure if you caught that one, but that did make me giggle.
I haven't, but that's incredible. Having the confidence to do that and just knowing what it's all about is quite good. And see rugby players coming out and having a joke is always good as well.
Exactly, and it's especially on it's a tweet about him and his future and at the club and potential like career in Super League. So to see him having a bit of a joke with the media almost is a good laugh, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Quickly before we move on from this game, Mahir for Noah playing for Halifax. That for me as a Hull FC fan, that's really sad to see because he was a legend for us back in the day. But it's a sign of again how quickly things change.
Yeah. At least he's still playing though.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Final close game this round in the Championship, Swinton Sheffield 30-22. Dan would have been absolutely buzzing with this one.
I was about to say the same thing.
And it was a comeback win. Sheffield led 22-10 and then Swinton turned it around to win 30-22.
That's impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. And I have a stat for the first time in a few weeks. I have a stat. Swinton Lions winger, I think his first name is Nicky Butt, scored his 100th try in his career, which is 21 years after he scored his first try, and that was for Wales back in 2002.
Oh, wow. That's a great stat, but can we do a bit of fact check? I'm sure, was Nicky Butt not a footballer?
I don't know. Nicky Butt just sounds right. It's something. No. Oh, Mike Butt. That's it. That's probably better.
I'm almost sure Nicky Butt was a Man United player or something.
Yeah.
So that would have been even more impressive of a stat from you.
Played football and then 21 years of scoring tries for Swinton.
No, that is a good stat though, and that's Mr. Consistency, isn't it?
It is. It's very good to see he's still going as well. I don't know, but it would be good to know how old he is, because considering the first try that he scored was for Wales in an international,
yeah,
he can't have been completely fresh off a block then.
Well, Nicky Butt's 40 and he played for Man United, Newcastle, Sheffield, and South China. So
I mean,
Wales in there.
Who knows what he does in his spare time? 3 more games in the Championship. London Newcastle 56-10. This is, I think I expected London to win, but not by that much, considering Newcastle just came off the back of a win.
Yeah, it's sad to see that. I've always said I've got a bit of a soft spot for Newcastle as a Newcastle football fan, and it just doesn't. Nothing's going their way this year. So I know in their academy they've got a lot of the sort of young Scotland players who are in the Scotland under 16s, 18s, and student setup as well. So I do like to see them doing well. And unfortunately, this week it wasn't their week, and a lot of points piled on from London, which is impressive.
It is something they're not really used to over the past couple of months either. Then I'm intentionally doing it this way around because the big game we'll do last. Whitehaven 0, Featherstone 60. That game was delayed because of travel issues. It didn't stop Featherstone from putting in absolutely another brilliant performance.
Yeah, no, they're not looking back at it. Was it Toulouse they lost to?
Yeah.
Apart from that, they do this every week, don't they?
Yeah, it feels like they lost to Toulouse, and then it was an even bigger kick up the butt, and we started playing even better than we were before. which is probably not what you want if you're the rest of a championship. Leilua scoring for Featherstone. I don't believe he scores that much for them. So
Is that Leilua as in Joey Leilua?
I believe it is. I was gonna say Joey Leilua, but it's definitely one of the big NRL ones.
Yeah, because his brother plays for the Cowboys, I think. I didn't know he was there.
He's been there since last season now, I think, but he had an injury problem, I believe. Set him back quite a bit, but
I'm not a fan of him. I'm trying to fit that out.
I'm not a fan of Featherstone and anyone that plays there, to be honest. So,
where's it based? You know me and my English geography is about as good as
it is. It's a small town in Castleford.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, it's very, very small catchment, which is probably why their attendances are so low. They're quite a successful side, but they've ruined Hull FC a few times over recent years, so I'm not the biggest fan. The final game then of a championship, the big one, Bradford 74, Keighley 12. Where did that come from?
I'm sure we were speaking about this last week with Barry, and I think we might have tipped Keighley, or said it would be a lot closer than that anyway.
Yeah, I believe I tipped Keighley for it. It's so out of the blue. Only 22-6 at halftime, and Bradford scored 52 points, including George Tafua hat-trick after he got released from Wakefield.
I didn't even realise he'd been released from Wakefield.
Yeah, he got released the week before Leeds game, I believe. Then he scored a hat-trick for Bradford in his debut. 2 tries for Connor Wynn as well, and then a hat-trick for Kieran Gill. So tries all over the place for them. And
I'm so taken aback by Tafua being released. I honestly, I completely missed that. I thought they loved him there.
I don't actually know why he got released. I'm guessing more of a performance-based thing that I believe that stuck here to let him go, but he's performing very well for Bradford and doing the job. Bodine Thompson got 2 conversions. That's because he retired in that game. Not a bad game to retire in.
There we go.
So it's always good to see little things like that, getting the big men to take the conversions. Before we look at League One, we'll rattle through the championship for next week, predict them. London to lose is the first game.
To lose easy. 47. Weird. I don't know how you get 47, but 47.
I'll say by 32.
That makes a lot more sense.
It's just stranger things have happened in the championship this year. So
that's right. I love going wild when it comes to this league.
Yeah. Batley Halifax. I'm gonna say Batley by 8. I think it'll be fairly close.
Halifax by 12.
Yeah, that's one of them games that can literally go either way. Featherstone, Swinton. Dan won't like what we say for this, I imagine, but I'm going to say Featherstone by 40.
Featherstone by 28.
Fair enough. It is Swinton.
Sorry, Dan.
Managed to stop it. Yeah, sorry, Dan. Swinton have stopped a few big teams, so who knows?
True.
Could happen. Keighley versus York, a relegation battle. I'm going to say York by 12.
Yeah, York, big win last week. York by 6, though.
Yeah, I think their confidence will just carry them over. Newcastle, Whitehaven, another game that's fairly low in the table, but I'm going to say Whitehaven by 18.
Oh, Whitehaven by 2.
Yeah, I think I would have gone a lot closer, but I think Newcastle are helped by the fact they're at home and they've only won 1 game in a year plus there. So
yeah, it's it's normally home advantage, isn't it? It's home disadvantage when it comes to Kingston Park.
Yeah, Sheffield Barrow. Can Sheffield bounce back? Can Barrow pull off another upset?
I feel like these two played recently.
I think they did.
I'm going to say Sheffield though. 24.
I'm going to say Barrow. I'm going to go and upset. I think they did play recently and Barrow won. So I'm going to say Barrow again by 8. And then the final game, Widnes Bradford. The John Keogh recently sacked by these clubs Derby. I've made that up now.
We might have to work on that one.
We'll work on a shorter name for next week when we look at the game. But that game again, Widnes I think will benefit from not having John Keogh, which sounds weird to say. But I'm going to say Widnes by 10.
I'll go Bradford by 12. Either way,
that will make sense. They'll be high on confidence after their
huge win
last result. Yeah. Only 3 games then in League One this week. West Wales, London, obviously cancelled, and Oldham Workington postponed due to travel issues. North Wales Crusaders, and they picked up a win against Rochdale. I did not expect that one.
No, I'm not going to say flying, but flying.
Yeah,
almost. They've definitely picked up from the start of the season, which is good to see for North Wales. Like you say, I don't think many would have expected that, but that's the beauty of this league. It's such a entertaining and anything can happen league. So, no, didn't expect that one at all.
I have another little fun fact about this one. This isn't a fun fact, but I believe Masson played for Rochdale at some point. So that's and he scored against them. So that's quite good. Brad Billsborough, the North Wales Crusaders number 7. He used to be a Wigan academy player, so it's good to see that he's still going. But he's also a Germany international.
Oh, there we go.
Is something you don't see every day. It's a German international who plays for a Welsh club in the English league.
There we go. It's what do you call it? It's like a game. I'll come back to you on that one. I've lost my own thoughts again.
The second game, Hunslet 28, Doncaster 8. I'd again say that's a bit of a shock, but Hunslet are flying.
Yeah, they are. They beat the other Flyers in the North Wales Crusaders the week before.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of a no doubt result in the end, isn't it? It's not that close a game. So huge result for them as they continue to shoot up.
Jack Render scored twice for Hunslet. I don't know if you saw his tweet this week on Twitter where Hunslet described him as a brilliant Jack Render, and he quote tweeted it saying, "I've never been called brilliant before."
That's good.
So,
that's good.
That's quite good. And Sam Hallas also scoring for Hunslet. He's a ex-Rhinos Academy graduate as well.
Yeah.
So,
some talent in the ranks then.
Yep. Final game of this round, and a very interesting game. Midlands 23, Dewsbury 28. They pushed Dewsbury all the way.
Yeah, no, I've seen this result and I was a bit shocked, to be honest, because they've taken some beatings to a lot smaller teams, and teams aren't flying like Dewsbury are. So when I seen the result, I was definitely shocked, and it's good to see. Because I'm a fan of Midlands Hurricanes. I like the Dewsbury Rams as well. A few Scottish names in there, so a close game and a good advert.
Absolutely. Midlands did have a 16-4 lead at halftime as well, so maybe Dewsbury is starting to lose that little bit of edge that they've had over the first part of this season. Yeah,
they're not unbeaten anymore, are they?
They're not. I can't remember who beat them, but they're certainly looking to be a bit more shaky now than they were. Next week's games, then we'll rattle through again. There's 4 games. London Cornwall is the first game.
Whoa.
That's another one of them games.
Exactly. I'm not even too. I'm going to let you predict first, so I have a better idea and don't make a fool of myself here.
Cornwall by 18 is my prediction.
I'll go Cornwall as well by 12.
Yep. Midlands Hunslet. I'm going to say Hunslet by 16.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to say Hunslet as well by 24.
Yeah, I think Midlands will be that last game, although they lost, it took a lot out of them, and I don't think 2 weeks in a row they can produce a performance like that. Oldham v North Wales Crusaders. I'm going to say North Wales by 10.
I'm going to say North Wales as well by 2, though. Closer game.
I think it'll definitely be closer than we used to.
Saying that, I still think it'll be like 44-42 or something.
It's tries for fun, isn't it? It's tries for fun. Then Workington Rochdale, the final game. I'm going to say Workington by 26.
Workington by 50 out of nowhere. Yeah.
I think it'll be quite high scoring because of Rochdale's poor form. And then quickly before we do the NRL, I've just seen a few of Phil's comments. Back to about Mikey Lewis. The sin bin wasn't for the slide tackle. Apparently, I don't know what it was for. Then it's a bit Phil. If you're still here, please, if you could tell us what that was for. And then Luke Gale is out for Wakefield Salford. Wakefield Wigan. Sorry, it's just when he is in that team, he plays brilliant. But when he's not, it seems like a loss. So I would imagine it'd be Lino and Dagger, or Lino and Smith, or Dagger and Smith. There's a few options for them.
Dagger and player name.
Yeah, Dagger and player name. If we can't find someone, it'll just be player name. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of options. I would say Dagger has to play, but Gale being out is quite a loss for them. That rounds up Championship and Phil's comments.
Phil's comments. It's going to be a new segment. No,
thanks
as always to Phil for his comments, and we could make it a segment. Definitely, he's definitely got plenty to add. We love hearing from Phil. So we will move on to the NRL now. Just clearing. I've got Joey Leilua searched up here, and is just annoying me to look at it. If you're wondering why I'm not a fan of Joey Leilua, it's genuinely just there was a Panthers-Tigers game 2-3 years ago where the Leilua brothers started on people, and it just really pissed me off. So that's where that comes from.
I can understand that.
So the big talking point this week will be the state of origin. Game 3, will Queensland sweep the series? Will New South Wales get swept or manage one back? And there's been a few changes, but before we'll quickly round up last week's NRL action and on to next week's shorter list of games due to the origin period. So we started off, the Sharks with a big win over the Dragons, 52 points to 16. And it was one of those games that was a bit close, and then Sharks were running away with it, and then a couple of easy tries at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that one, but I was following, getting notifications, and it seemed like it was a period where it seemed very close, and then all of a sudden just try. Yeah, and I think Dragons will be unhappy with that, and but it seems again just that it's almost their season in a game there.
No. As soon as they look good, it all goes to spot for them. I'm not sure if, obviously there's been a lot about Ben Hunt wanting to leave the Dragons and them not letting them, etc. I've seen this week they've said to Zach Lomax that you're free to go. So one, I don't know how that makes Lomax feel. I was also saying to my pal, I don't know how many clubs would actually take Lomax. I think he's good, but I don't think he's what he was a few years ago.
No, I agree with that.
The other thing I've seen this week, Nico Hines saying, I'm not expecting to be picked for the Blues after I let them down, and everyone feeling a bit sorry for him.
It's just not true, is it? It's just it's sad.
Yeah, exactly. You got 15 minutes and had to defend in the centres when you're a fullback / 7. So it's definitely harsh on him. He's been a bit harsh on himself there, but he's putting in the performances again for clubs. So no doubt we'll see him back in the Origin setup come next year.
Absolutely. It's back to the Ben Hunt thing quickly as well about if a player wants to leave, I don't understand why a club would want to keep them. If they want to leave, they're not going to play for the badge if they stay. Let them go. Use that money to reinvest in people that do want to be there.
Exactly.
It's the best option for both parties, so it doesn't make sense for the Dragons, really.
Ben Hunt needs out of there. He's such a good player, and he just has to carry too much on his shoulders at the Dragons, and it makes him a worse player for it. He needs out of there, and if he can slot into a system like he does at the Maroons, well, you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing.
He'll be one of the best out there for sure.
Exactly. The Rabos getting back to winning ways this week. They beat the Warriors 28 points to 6 in a very wet encounter. I hated this one because Captain Sean Johnson on fantasy, who scored very, very low. So
it's always the way. It's always
exactly.
Yeah, I think with Sean Johnson's recent performances and New Zealand not being on terrible form, I think Souths will be happy with that. And out of the recent games, it's probably not the one I'd expect them to have bounced back in, to be fair.
No, I think one of those games where the conditions just completely altered both teams, and Souths were able to adjust to that a bit better.
Yeah, I was going to say that maybe Saints is it South's experience, but I was looking at their team list for the next round. That obviously there is Origin, but there's a lot of names in there that are not really known that well. So it's a more youthful South side and have come in and put in a good performance, a good shift.
Yeah, as good as they were looking at one point this year, they've just been absolutely hammered with injuries and Origin call-ups, and it's not really gone their way.
Everything that could have gone wrong has, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of a team list for this week, I'm not sure if you go on the Panthers Instagram, they done a good post about their team to face the bye. It had people like Moses Leota starting at fullback and the Hulk in there on the bench and Shrek and stuff like that. It was a bit of a weird one.
Why not? I'm gonna go look for that after this. That sounds quite good.
I didn't realize we were on a bye, and I was looking through it. I was like, why is Moses Leota at full? And then I was swiping. I'm like, nah, this can't be real because Shrek was in there and stuff. I'm like, what's going on here then? But staying on the Panthers, they beat the Storm away. It was 34 points to 16. I was watching this one in the first 25, 30 minutes. It was all Storm. It was completely all Storm. One of their tries was quite lucky. Big Nelson Asafo Solomono's try was, I would say it was lucky. It looked like first double movement, second that he didn't control the ball over the line, but it got given, and I thought the Storm were just going to run away with this one. And there's one point I said to myself, fair play, they've turned up and we've not. And then the Panthers had a second half as per usual. Yeah. But I think even at half time, it was 18-16 or 14-12 or something like that. We brought it back by half time with a last 10 minutes of the first half onslaught and then didn't look back from there.
That is very, very much a Panthers this year, and they always find a way, especially in the games like Melbourne or maybe the games where you need a little bit extra and you've been on the back foot for so long. They always find a way. It seems like that was the case again.
I was very impressed, to be completely honest, and not just being a biased Panthers fan. Jack Cogger, I know we've spoken about him a wee bit a couple of weeks ago. He's just come in and done exactly what Sean O'Sullivan done last year when Cleary was out. Just stepped up, and it earned Sean O'Sullivan a deal with a team and to be the starting 7 before he got injured. Yeah, it would not surprise me if Jack Cogger was not a Panther this time next year.
I'd agree, to be fair. How long has Cogger been at Penrith? Because I remember him being at Huddersfield.
I'm not sure if I don't think he was on loan from Huddersfield to Penrith. I think he was, I want to say, at Newcastle or something before that. So I don't think he's been there long, but he's come in and just proven himself, because from the sounds of it, he didn't do much at Huddersfield.
He was barely played. It wasn't if we're going off like squad numbers, he was 16, so not even a starter. So to come in, he's to be honest, he's really impressed me. That's the only way I can put it. He's very impressive.
No, he's definitely been good. Isaac Tungo out in the centres had an absolutely monster game as well. Yeah, I don't know about stats in terms of run meters. I know he got 2 tries, but just bouncing off people left, right, and centre. And they were saying on commentary, and I think I tend to agree. We've had all these young players come up here. Taylor May last year, your Taruva on the wing, Stephen Crichton's coming through, Matt Burton before he went to Bulldogs. I think Tungo could be up there with your Crichtons, and I'd say even go beyond. I genuinely think he's that quality of player.
He's got the talent, and he doesn't seem to have much of a ceiling, so it's very possible.
Anyway, moving on from my biased Panthers reviews, we'll go closer game. Raiders 26, Titans 22. So Raiders just getting over the line. Actually, I haven't seen this one. It's not often that the Titans don't score their 28 points.
Yeah. I think the Raiders must have been thinking, oh, God, 26 is not enough. But again, that jokes aside, the Titans only losing out by a few points. Once again, it's so much like them this year. I've not seen much from the game, but it sounds like the typical Titans performance that we're used to now.
At the same time, I also think it's sort of typifies the Raiders this year of like getting over the line in these close games, and they've had quite a good mental attitude and managed to do all this. So no, it sort of just seemed where the two teams played exactly, and the game played out exactly as one might predict it. Not that I can remember the predictions, but moving on. I know I've not really consulted you about this, but I thought we'll go into the knockout bowl.
Yeah, go for it.
So you might remember a few weeks ago us speaking about the West Tigers beating the Cowboys 66. Was it 0 or 12?
18, I think it was.
18. How the tables have turned. The Cowboys 74, the Tigers 0. Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Wow.
How did it happen? What? Just it's so undescribable. Like, I mean, it's good that North Queens have turned it around, but when we were saying it, we were giving West Tigers so much praise that they've turned it around, and now they're back into that slump again.
Yeah, I don't want to have a goldfish memory and forget everything the Tigers have done well in the past 8 weeks, but it just sort of seems like back at square one. So hopefully they can bounce back. But I think the Cowboys, there's a couple of players to point out. Scott Drinkwater.
Yeah.
What
I was about to say, incredible.
What
really showed that in that game as well, the talent that he does have.
Yeah, and a wee stat for you as well. Valentine Holmes' highest or most amount of points by a Cowboy in a single game. I think it was 32. I might be wrong.
But I think it was around that, yeah.
But even that, incredible. And yeah, I'm a big Holmesy fan, big Valentine Holmes fan. He's just brilliant. He's such a solid player in those centres, and with his kicking ability and his defensive ability as well. I think he's one of the most all-round centres in the league. But no, Scott Drinkwater, I think, man of the match. All the praise you can give someone in a game, because
he definitely took all the plaudits. I think that's the saying from that game.
Rightfully so. I don't think we spoke about this. I can't remember if it's because we didn't do an episode, but when the Cowboys beat the Panthers and he scored that winner in Golden Point, where he just runs around people for fun.
Yeah.
We spoke about him a bit at the start of the season, and he wasn't really finding his boots. But as soon as the Cowboys have hit form, it seems to be in line with him hitting serious form.
Yeah, he's a key player, that's for sure. He may have dropped off of form, but the fact that it coincides with North Queensland playing well as well now I don't think that's much of a coincidence.
No, I remember, I think when he was at 6 or 7 and he really wasn't special, and then he moved to fullback, and he's now quite rightly got a 18th man call up for the Blues. So I would like to see him in there over Tedesco, to be honest with you, with the game 3 being a bit of a dead rubber, but you're never going to drop Tedesco, are you? So
no.
We'll move on. And speaking about solid centres like Valentine Holmes, one of my favourite players in the league, an Englishman actually, Herbie Farnworth, playing for the Broncos. What a player. He got the job done, as did the Broncos, 24 points to 16s over their Queensland. Is that right? Queensland? Yeah. Brisbane.
Yeah.
Over their Brisbane rivals, the Dolphins, who, are now just sort of falling into these games where they can't quite get over the line. Speaking of getting over the line, Valen Stefari again, the big fella, out of Redcliffe, he got over the line for another try in Dolphins colours. But the Broncos needed that, I think, to stay up there.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Interestingly, though, if I remember rightly, this Redcliffe are, as you say, falling into these games, not quite having enough. But this was closer than the last time we played because it was 36-14, I believe, last time.
Was it?
I think so. I'll start check now while I'm talking. But
Because I
think
remember I thought the Dolphins had lost that in like one of the first plays. I might be very wrong.
I'll have a look. I may be thinking of Redcliffe Souths actually. I may be talking nonsense as per usual.
Because it was a Anthony Milford kick that like bounced up just for Castoni Stags who ran the length of the pitch, if I remember rightly.
That
and
does
I thought
ring
that was the
bells
winner.
actually. Yeah. Oh yeah, but they lost 36-14 was to Souths. My bad. Scrap what I was going to say then. It's not close.
They did play. They still played well, and they are still playing well.
18-12 it was last time, so virtually the same.
Yeah, they are still playing well, and they're in these games. They just need to, maybe not this year because no one expected them to be in the A or compete, but they're still outperforming everyone's expectations.
There's still a chance for them as well to get into that 8.
Exactly. Each week, people like Izako, Hamso Tabuai-Fidow, Ewan Aitken I've been impressed with, and not just saying that as a Scotland fan. And they do have these players who have just completely outshone what they should be doing. And Sean O'Sullivan's back, so it's going to take some time for him and Katoa to pair in the halves again. And Cody Nikarima, where'd you fit him in? Because he's been incredible.
Exactly. There's lots of headaches for them, which is only a good thing. But what are you going to
do? Speaking about headaches, Bulldogs fans have probably got headaches from pulling their hair out after watching their team lose 66-0 to the Knights, which when I seen that score, I had to double take. I think I said I was expecting the Knights to win this one, but no one predicted by 66 points.
No, definitely not. I think we were saying a few weeks ago that Canterbury, it's kind of a write-off season, but they don't need to worry. And although that's still the case, it's a worrying result. It shows that they're really still quite far off a pace.
Yeah, exactly.
Interestingly, for just to these both of the big games can link back to Hull though, because Jake Clifford is wanted by West Tigers. They obviously got destroyed, so that makes it less likely that Jake Clifford will want to go there and he's performing a good Hull side. Yeah, and I believe it was linked to Newcastle Knights as well,
which is where it came from. Am I right in saying?
It was, which kind of complete reverse of the other one. So I don't know, but back to the game itself. Just an interesting little intervention. It's I don't know. Canterbury will be worried. Newcastle will be very happy with that though, for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. It felt like it was coming from Newcastle. Big performances from Ponga, Hastings, Brabham Best, and it did earn him a Blues call up. And I'll quickly move on. And I know we're sort of running out of time for tonight, but I'll quickly move on to the Seagulls Roosters. Seagulls getting that one done. Just 18.16.
Yeah,
what's going on with the Roosters?
It's again, that's another one where it's like they've got all the gear. It's like all the gear, no idea.
Exactly.
The best way to describe it.
As a Panthers fan and almost a neutral, just because, you don't like to see the Roosters being a bit of a Bayern Munich of sorts and just buying anyone they want. But I quite enjoy seeing them not do so well. But I'll keep that to myself.
I do agree. To be fair, it is nice, but at the same time, it feels a bit wrong that we're not performing well.
Yeah, bit of a Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
On to 5 games this upcoming week. Starting on Thursday, Tigers hosting the Sharks. I know the Sharks will maybe be missing 1 or 2. The Tigers are without Luke Brooks, I know, from hamstring injury it is. So I think the Sharks get over the line. They still got Hines, Will Kennedy.
Yeah, I agree.
Nicara, the main sort of culprits there. So after Tigers last week, if this had been 2 weeks ago, I'd have maybe said the Tigers might have a chance, but now, nah, I don't think
Definitely not now. The confidence levels will all have gone for Tigers.
Yeah, there's that goldfish memory we love talking about.
Yeah.
Unless they can use that to their advantage and forget about the 74 points that were put on them.
They could, but to be fair, maybe some underestimating going on.
Yeah, very true.
Who knows?
The Friday game this week, Raiders Dragons. I'd imagine the Raiders every day here.
Yeah, I agree. Quite comfortably as well, I think.
Yeah, what I'd probably say is going to be game of the round, Eels Warriors. I know the Eels will be missing Mitch Moses. I think Dylan Brown's still suspended. Matterson's back, I want to say. Or yeah, they're definitely got some players back, and the Warriors definitely don't struggle off Origin with all the New Zealand talent amongst their ranks. So, I think this will be a lot closer than it could be, and I think the Warriors will actually pull out this one.
I'd agree. I was going to say close, but Warriors just to bounce back. Sean Johnson to have another little masterclass.
I hope so. I've captained him again.
You never learn.
No. Well, I'm missing Payne. I can't do it with Payne Haas this week. He's not there. Ravos Bulldogs is another close one, I reckon. But with the Ravos, because I'm not sure if you've seen Cody Walker got the call up for Origin. I don't think Latrell's back yet, so I think it'll be close. But I think the Ravos still pull this one off.
Yeah, I'd agree. I say I agree. I was quite. I usually obviously look at the team list, but I was looking a lot more at South this week and going and reading through the team. I was like, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know you. But then they've got a lot of young talent who have come through over the years that can step up. Yeah, Taff, them players.
Yeah,
I think I'll go South, but very only just like South by 6.
Yeah, no, I think it will be close because the Bulldogs will want to bounce back as well after being nilled. And then finally, we've got the first half 40-minute performance, 28 points scoring Titans against the Dolphins. I'm actually going to say because Origin. I'm going to say the Titans, I think.
Yeah. I'd agree, but that's purely off just because it's Origin.
Yeah.
Talent that Redcliffe miss, just
exactly.
Titans, and I think they'll return to their 28-point scoring ways this week.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so, and then they'll pick up the 2 points on the ladder as well.
Yeah.
To quickly run through the Origin teams, just we're running out of time slightly tonight, but Queensland, a few changes. Fullback, obviously no Reece Walsh due to suspension, so we've got AJ Brimson in from the Titans, funnily enough, but good to see that. Xavier Coates holds his place on the wing. Valentine Holmes and Tabiai Fido make up the centres, with Taulongi on the other wing. Munster and Cherry Evans, as usual, in the halves. We've got Ruben Cotter at prop with Big Tino, not even going to pronounce the second name. Sorry, Phil. I think it was Phil that was a bit disappointed in me doing that. Harry Grant in the hooker. So Ben Hunt not starting. We've got David Fafita and Nanai on the edges, which is just pure strength. And then Paddy Carrigan at 13. Ben Hunt is on the bench. We've got Lindsay Collins in there, one of my favourite players in the league, Mo Forteka, and Corey Horsburgh getting a well-deserved call-up in there. Big Red from the Raiders. Tom Dearden makes the 18th man, and Jermaine Hopgood, great to see him in there. I know it's 19th man and he probably won't play, but well-deserved call-up.
Absolutely. Just to be there or thereabouts is good for Origin.
I've been, and I know this is going to sound like biased Panthers fandom here. Hopgood was good for us when he played last year. He might have played 12 times over the last couple of years for us at most. But then you see he slots straight into the other grand final team. I genuinely think that's what good a system we've got at Penrith, is that people who come off our bench would slot easily into other top teams. Even your likes of Scotty Sorensen, who normally comes off our bench, Spencer Leniu, I reckon they slot into most other teams, and that I feel like Jermaine Hopgood's just such a good case of that. And don't get me wrong, it's through his own hard work, it's through the work that Para have done with him since he joined. But I think it's a good advert for the Panthers as well.
I do absolutely agree. There's just talent all over the place at Panthers.
Exactly. We've got another few changes when it comes to the Blues team. Tedesco, like we said, keeps his place at fullback. Toto on the wing next to Stephen Crichton, so that's not changed. But we've got Bradman Best in there, like we slightly mentioned, and Joshua Adokar on the other wing. The halves see the return of Cody Walker in a Blues jersey, which I'm personally excited about.
Yeah, same.
And Mitch Moses retains his 7 jersey. Another return and exciting one for Blues fans, Jake Trbojevic back in the Blues. I think we missed him so much this series, genuinely.
I agree. He's one of them players that needs to be in there.
And he's replacing Payne Haas.
Yeah, it's quite a big boots to fill.
But he's such a leader and just natural rugby league player.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watch any Fletch and Hindy over. It's on like YouTube and stuff. It's like on there, like almost after the rugby show on the Matty John show, and so the Fletch and Hindy are like old players, and they sometimes do like interviews with with some of the players, and they had a lie detector one. You need to watch it. Look up the Fletch and Hindy lie detector with the Seagulls, and they keep asking Jake Trbojevic about glory holes. It's completely brilliant.
I will find that. I'll find that later.
I'll send it to you. Honestly, you could sit for hours and just watch Fletch and Hindy and all the different things they do with the players. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Regan Campbell-Gillard finds his way back in the team, replacing teammate Junior Paulo. Damien Cook holds his place at 9, and unsurprisingly, Liam Martin holds his place in the side, next to debutant Keon Kalamatangi from the Rebels. Yeah. Almost forgot.
I'm quite excited for that because he's been one of South's top players this year.
The last couple of years, I think. Yeah. No, he's been brilliant.
Yeah.
And he is joined by his teammate Cameron Murray at 13. It'd be nice to see Cam Murray in that 13 role, which he doesn't really get to do with the Blues, but he's so consistent at it at South. So that'll be good to see. Isaiah Yeo then falls to the bench, which, as a Panthers fan, you want to see him starting, but he's not had a great series. So
no,
fair play.
If you're going to make changes and try something different, now's the time.
Exactly. Jacob Saifiti from the Knights comes in. I always get him and his brother mixed up, but I'm sure he had a good origin last time out. Last year, I think it was, or it might even been 2 years ago. But just one of those players that'll come in and just run through brick walls for you.
Yeah, does a job.
Another well-deserved call-up here, and a reason the Eels might be in with trouble. Clint Gutherson's on the bench, and I know he's a fullback to trade. I always say he's one of the best try savers in the league because he sometimes always holds the ball up or gets his boot under it or taps it out. But I reckon he could fill in, centres, halves if needs be. So
yeah, he can slot in all of them positions really. More dynamic, good person to have.
And I don't think I mentioned him here. He's in the 16. Reece Robson's on the bench as well, so back in the squad, and another versatile player who could probably slot into forwards if needs be. Scotty Drinkwater, like we said, makes the 18, so who knows if we see him slot in there as the coming days go on. I doubt it, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah.
And a nice one for me, Spencer Leniu makes his way on into the 19th man role. So like Hopgood, probably won't see the squad, but being in and amongst it is such good experience. So probably the most confident I've been about a Blues team this series.
I'd agree, to be fair, but it seemed to lack that creativity a bit, or they always seem to be caught out by something Queensland do. To the more versatility on the bench and more creativity we've gone with should help them.
I think this also seems like the most Queensland Blues team, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
the ones who actually just put on the badge and just fight and run through brick walls. You're dropping big names, Luai, Haas.
Yeah,
imagine dropping Haas. Honestly, I don't think it's through injury either. I think it's just Junior Paulo too. Huge players, but the people you're bringing in are, to me anyway, and I could be easily proven wrong, and we could get swept. But players who are just going to go on there and give everything for the 80 minutes.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It should be a very good game.
I think it should be. Fingers crossed anyway. But I know you need to shoot away, John. So
have one thing left to add about the stadium names, good stadium names. I've found another one which is maybe a bit more crude than it is funny. But in Denmark, there's a stadium called Middelfart.
that it does sound a very European name.
Yeah, I found that one quite good to add to the list.
Niche Sports Goes Abroad can visit Denmark.
Yeah, most people go to Copenhagen. We go to Middelfart.
Is it what's it, like a football stadium? Or
I think so. Yeah.
Middelfart away. That's our next goal.
Yeah. Yeah, Niche Sports on tour to Middelfart.
I'm excited for that one. And as always, thank you for watching live, Phil. Thanks for your comments as always. Player name,
yeah,
great to bring that one up. John, thanks for your time tonight. We will be on Spotify as always, on YouTube as always. We're proudly sponsored by His Boxing Equipment. And yeah, make sure to visit them for all your boxing equipment needs. If you want to get involved and come on the Niche Sports All Things Rugby League podcast, reach out to us, either me at RL in Scotland on Twitter, or LC Sporting Media, Jordan, the Rugby League blogger, or the Niche Sports page, and we'd love to have you on and hear what you have to say. Or if you want to join us live and comment away, then feel free to. But as always, and until next week, thank you very much.
Cheers. Enjoyed it.
Perfect. Have a good one, everyone. Cheers.
Proudly sponsored by heshes.co.uk, a fast-growing boxing equipment brand that give 20% of all sales on the branded products back to a boxing gym of your choice.